Hello there. This is Being God's Obedient Servant channel. Um, as the title says, today we're doing chapter 14 of Leviticus. We're still doing um, just a straightforward reading for the most part because we don't really have a problem with leprosy in America or in most of the world today. It does still exist in some parts. So if you do want to travel abroad, remember that you want to research where you're going because you may not be vaccinated to what they have. It's like going to Mexico and drinking the water. I don't advise it. You can do it, but like I said before, with good decisions and bad decisions, there's always consequences. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in here. Oh, if you're new to this channel and you just happen to click on this, this is the Bible study channel. This is where I read through the Bible, talk about certain things and everything of that nature, that what pertains to us today and what doesn't. Um, I said this is the law of leprosy and being cleansed is what we're in right now in Leviticus, which doesn't pertain to us no more because Jesus finished the law, and this is one of those laws that was finished. This is have you noticed that so a lot of things we're still doing? This is you're doing sacrifices for this and everything, and we don't have to do that no more. Anyways, go ahead and jump right on in here. Got I think there's like 57 verses to read. It won't take too long. As I said, it's pretty straightforward. There's a couple of as I said, with everything in the Bible, there's always lessons, and so there's always something to learn. Even if it doesn't pertain to us today, we still have something to learn from it. So let's go ahead and jump right on in here, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper. In the day of his cleansing he shall be brought unto the priest. And the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper, then shall the priest command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 birds alive and clean, and cedar wood and scarlet and hyssop. And the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel over running water. As for the living bird, he shall take it, and the cedar wood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and shall dip them in the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water. And he shall sprinkle upon him that is to be cleansed from the leprosy 7 times, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird loose into the open field. And he that is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, and shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water, that he may be clean. And after that he shall come into the camp, and shall tarry abroad out of his tent 7 days. But it shall be on the 7th day that he shall shave all his hair off his head, and his beard, and his eyebrows, even all his hair he shall shave off, and he shall wash his clothes. Also he shall wash his flesh in water, and he shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take 2 he lambs without blemish, and 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish, and 3/10 deals of fine flour for a meat offering mingled with oil, and 1 log of oil. And the priest shall maketh him clean, and the priest that maketh him clean shall present the man that is to be made clean, and those things before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall take 1 he lamb, and offer him for a trespass offering, and the log of oil, and wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And he shall slay the lamb in the place where he shall kill the sin offering and the burnt offering in the holy place. For as the sin offering is the priest, so is the trespass offering, it is most holy. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and the priest shall put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And the priest shall take some of the log of oil, and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. And the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that it is in his left hand, and shall sprinkle of the oil with his finger 7 times before the Lord. And of the rest of the oil that is in his hand shall the priest put upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the blood of the trespass offering. And the remnant of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall pour upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, and the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord. Now, there's parts in here we're going to see. Like here, we have priest in the Catholic Church that does this stuff with, they take the oil and they make the cross on the forehead of people and this, that, and the other. And to me, I think this is where they get it from. Which, as I said, Jesus finished the law. This is not to be needed to be done anymore. I don't know if in New Testament, I can't remember if there's areas in it where they, well, I mean, I do know that they do pour the oil on the forehead of people to be blessed and stuff in the New Testament. But, here's, we got other areas of this we're going to be getting into, cleansing the house and everything else if it's unclean and everything. And so you're going to see a lot of similarities when you read the Bible of stuff that's kind of been in movies today, or like, The Exorcist and stuff where they exorcise a home that's been, possessed and everything. But it's I said, we see you'll see it in here as we get to it about that. So let's continue on reading here, verse 19. And the priest shall offer the sin offering and make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed from his uncleanness, and afterward he shall kill the burnt offering. And the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the meat offering upon the altar, and the priest shall make an atonement for him, and he shall be clean. And if he be poor and cannot get so much, then he shall take 1 lamb for a trespass offering to be waved to make an atonement for him, and 1/10 deal of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering, and a log of oil. So here we're also seeing that, God does not make it impossible, even if you're poor, to serve him. Old Testament, New Testament, back then, current day, doesn't matter. Your financial status does not dictate your ability to serve the Lord. And so, this is, said, there's always lessons in the Bible, and this is one of them, just to, let you know that there's a lot of parts in the Bible where at one time, even in New Testament during the time of Jesus, where he talked about, people that used to be thought that if people were, had infirmities, they weren't blessed or anything of that nature, that means they had sin in their life and they weren't being blessed by God. And that's not true. Like, some people get blessed with certain things and some people are blessed with other things. But the main thing is we're to always be humble. And God knows us better than we know ourselves, and sometimes people that end up blessed with finances that shouldn't be blessed with finances, it helps lead them away from the Lord. And so if God will know you better than you know yourself, and sometimes he won't give you financial blessings because he knows what you're going to do with it. And he'd rather have you poor and beside him than rich and beside Satan. So let's continue on here. Verse 22. and 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to get, and the one shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering. And he shall bring them on the 8th day for his cleansing unto the priest unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. And the priest shall take the lamb of the trespass offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering, and the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And the priest shall pour of the oil into the palm of his own left hand, and the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before the Lord. And the priest shall put of the oil that is in his hand upon the tip of his right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the place of the blood of the trespass offering. And the rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, to make an atonement for him before the Lord. And he shall offer it says, my dyslexia kicks in sometimes, and I think I read something wrong. I repeat it, and so this is one of them where it's just worded that way. I still love the the King James version, even though sometimes the reading is different than the language we speak today. I still prefer it. So continue with verse 30. And he shall offer the one of the turtle doves, or of the young pigeons, such as he can get, even such as he is able to get, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, with the meat offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed before the Lord. This is the law of him in whom is the plague of leprosy, whose hand is not able to get that which pertaineth to his cleansing. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, When ye be come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in a house of the land of your possession, and he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, It seemeth to me there is as it were a plague in the house. So here's the part we're going into the blessing of the house and stuff now, or the cleansing of the house actually. Let's continue on verse 36. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest go into it to see the plague, that all that is in the house be not made unclean, and afterward the priest shall go in to see the house. And he shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house with hollow strakes, greenish or reddish, which in sight are lower than the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house, and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again the 7th day, and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, and they shall cast them into an unclean place without the city. And he shall cause the house to be scraped within round about, and they shall pour out the dust that they scrape off without the city into an unclean place. And they shall take other stones and put them in the place of those stones, and he shall take other mortar and shall plaister the house. Of course, today we use the word plaster, but it actually is pronounced plaister. Continue on verse 43. And if the plague come again and break out in the house, after that he hath taken away the stones, and after he hath scraped the house, and after it is plaistered, then the priest shall come and look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the house, it is a fretting leprosy in the house, it is unclean. And he shall break down the house, the stones of it, and the timber thereof, and all the mortar of the house, and he shall carry them forth out of the city into an unclean place. To be honest, I'd done that the first time and just start from scratch. As I said before, in the other part of the leprosy, when they're talking about the clothing, I'd be like, I'll get different clothing. It's okay. We don't have to keep it. Just burn it. That'd just be my philosophy for it. But I said this was God's rules on this. Let's continue on. Verse 46. Moreover, he that goeth into the house all the while that it is shut up shall be unclean until the even. And he that lieth in the house shall wash his clothes, and he that eateth in the house shall wash his clothes. And if the priest shall come in and look upon it, and behold, the plague hath not spread in the house after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And he shall kill the one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water, and he shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird, and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and with the running water, and with the living bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. But he shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open fields, and make an atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the law for all manner of plague of leprosy and scall, and for the leprosy of a garment and a house, and for a rising, and for a scab, and for a bright spot, to teach when it is unclean and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. And as you can tell from this picture from the past, this is the end of chapter 14. So, like I said, it's pretty much a straightforward reading, but there is some things to learn from it. And the main thing is to learn from this that no matter your status in life, God will always make a way for you. And as long as you have faith in God and believe in that, and put your heart in the hands of God, He will take care of you, one way or the other. I've had another family member pass away. She's in her 90s, so it was to be expected, but I grew up with her. She's one of my great aunts. She was always a good woman, and the one thing a lot of us in our family, we do try to stay strong in our faith with God, but we have some people that don't. And I try to remind people, this life is our tryouts for where we spend eternity. This isn't the end. But my great aunt, though, there's only one from the brothers and sisters of that family still living. So she there was 2, of course, but she's I know for a fact where she's going to be at, because she's the sister of my grandmother, and they were the whole my grandmother on my dad's side is the holiest woman I've ever known, one of the holiest people I've ever known. She's the one that helped me a lot, and so her sister, which just passed away, they all come from the same teachings and the same family, the same lifestyle. She's resting right now until the resurrection. I try to tell so many people though, it's like, there is two places that you're going to go. Either you're going to be in the kingdom with peace, love, and joy, or you're going to be in the lake of fire with Satan, whom you served. It's one or the other. And I know a lot of people don't like fire, brimstone messages type things, but this is one of them. Make no mistake, who you serve in this life dictates who you spend eternity with. It says you have God's kingdom and the lake of fire. The lake of fire is Satan's resting home. If you follow the world, then you follow Satan. The Bible's clear of this. God even says those who serve the world will suffer with the world. Those who serve the Lord will be blessed being with the Lord. It's in these times and stuff, a lot of people still died of leprosy. They weren't cleansed from it. And it doesn't mean that they weren't blessed or anything. It's just, that was God's plan. God heals some people he doesn't. And that's just the way it is. And we're supposed to be okay with whatever God decides to do. Sometimes it's hard for us to understand. But God says that, you can have questions. You can even ask them. It says, but in the end, you need to have faith in me. That's the main teaching. Now, for the other people their eternity is going to be the lake of fire, God says those people who build their rewards on earth, not in heaven, then this life is their reward. The afterlife is their punishment. So it makes you, think about when you serve God and have a hard life, it's to be expected. But a lot of times we make life harder than what it needs to be just because of what we think we deserve or should have. A lot of it makes our life harder for us. If we're happier with having less, then we're just going to be happier, period. And that's kind of like the calling of God is, to live a humble life. It says, don't build rewards on earth, build rewards in heaven. And we can only do that. The Bible teaches that we can't get into heaven from works alone, but we are to do works for God, for each other. And we need to remember that. We are called to help one another. Even to help those with certain things that don't even serve God. If they need help them, show them God's love. Now, you don't help them sin or help them continue to sin, but if their car's broken down or whatever, if you can help them with their house or something, and they need help, we're to help one another. That's the whole reason of it all. But, it's knowing of my great aunt that just passed away, it's kind of like, it reminds me of the last days of her sister, my grandmother. And both of them, the one thing is that side of the family's blessed and very close to God, but they also suffer from Alzheimer's, which, it may affect me one day. I hope it doesn't, but I pray it skips me, because it does skip generations from time to time. But it does run in the family. So, even with being close to God, and having all these blessings in life, which most people on that side of the family, they've had a pretty decent financial life. There is a plague that they have in their family, and the older you live, the more likely it is you're going to, you know, have to endure that. And then when it gets bad enough, it's your family that has to endure it. But we're still to help one another. So, anyways, I'll go ahead and end this lesson here before I end up talking too much and running out of time like I've done in the past. Um, so, I said this is the end of chapter 14 of Leviticus. And as I said before, every part of the Bible, there's something to learn from it. You just have to know how to look for it. Sometimes it's plain as a nose on your face, and sometimes it's very hard to see. But the more you read the Bible, the more you start seeing things. See, God isn't going to show the Bible to you all at once. He's going to show it to you in little segments. That way you can absorb it easier, because it's like, if you get dumped with too much information at one time, you forget most of it. But if you take it in just little by little, then you remember it easier. And that way you can, you know, assign it to your life. I'm sorry, apply it to your life. And that way, because it's like, say someone's needing to change their diet as they get older. We all have to do it, and you can't do it all at once. Just do it in small little increments. That way, your life adapts to it. Same thing. It's like, changing your life to follow God has to be done in small parts. Because if you try to do it all at once, you're going to hurt yourself, and God doesn't want you to do that. So, as He opens your eyes more and more to things, that's when you are to apply it to your life more and more. So, I'm going to go ahead and end this one here. Until next time, God bless. And, remember, keep the world and everybody on this planet in prayer. Especially America. We're going through a lot of stuff right now with our political battles, with our political parties. And, we even having states and cities and counties battling each other in some areas, and I don't know if we end up in a civil war or not again, but, let's pray it doesn't happen, and that we're able to resolve this stuff peacefully and, godly even. That's the one thing we need, is we need God running this country again and not man. So, as I said, God bless, good night, and goodbye.